hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. It laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlights, the summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Good afternoon, good morning to those in the States. Hello, hello, hello. I'm back in warm stuff because it is, to say the least, shitty weather outside. I see that my camera is a little bit skewed, like that was a bit better, I think. Yeah, it is really, it's like raining and cold. Autumn has arrived. Summer we missed. Bye bye, summer. Goodbye. Really, it's Let's see if Nightbot should be here. So let's just for funsies check with Nightbot. But the weather here locally should be like, I don't know, 12 degrees or something like that. Really like, it feels chill, my friends. It feels chill. It's even worse. Come on, it's 48 degrees Fahrenheit here, 9 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from southwest at 6 miles per hour, and it is definitely rainy. We do have showers right now. It is dry, but it's been raining a couple of times today already. And I feel like I need to take on my winter clothes. Well, I'm technically already sort of dressed in winter. Like I have a thicker cardigan on. I have my poncho on, and I'm like, well, it's crafty weather. That's a good thing, right? It's crafty weather, which means, of course, I do have my most favorite mug of tea, and today it's a loose tea blend. It is Nijmegen, which is yeah, it's from the local city of Nijmegen. Nijmegen translates into the pride of Nijmegen. Yeah, and it's fresh, so it kind of tells me it's like spring, summer, and not this. Mm. So I hope you guys are all doing great and have had a great time since last week. A Wednesday. Good afternoon, Hella. Good afternoon, Ref. Well, good morning, I should say. Good morning, Susan. And good morning to Megan. Great, great, great to have you guys. So I have been working a little bit on the hat collectors. Not that I completed the row I was working on, but I have been working a little. I also started a new project. I finally started on the drops 10, oh, what is it called again? It's called 110-17 waistcoat. I linked to the description box down below. Right now it is quite simple work. It's just back and forth. I did take the time. I swatched it because I'm using a different yarn, and you'll never know. It looks a little bit more teal, but it is like more like an emerald green. And it is being discontinued by Hobby, so I hope there's enough for what I want to do. And right now this is like, it's a row of treble crochet, and then it's a row of single crochet, and then it's another row of treble crochet. And that's basically what I've been doing. Here we have the yarn. It is the Amigo XL from Hobby, so it's 100% acrylic. So that I've been working on, and of course then the hat collectors. I do have the Water Pearl laying around as well if I want to work on that. But that's probably going to be the last option for me, I think. I finished the Ripknit beanie I was working on past weekend. You will see that next week, Friday, on the yarn talk video. So that's good. I finished that. But yeah, so it's a bit of a question what we're going to be working on today. Are we going to work on the waistcoat, or are we going to work on the shawl, or are we going to do both? That's definitely also an option. I do a little bit of the one and a little bit of the other. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it currently. And I had some great suggestions from Susan on some hats, so I did bookmark those patterns on Ravelry because I was like looking at dabbling a bit into cables, a little bit more intricate hats rather than just the classic rib knit. Meanwhile, Ralph says he's been busy, have finished 2 donation blankets since we last met. The calf is on the back burner until I finish one more. Goodness, you've been busy. And the weather in New Jersey is definitely warmer than here. It is 6 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 16 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from south-southwest at 10 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 65. So yeah, I'm wondering if the light, we might have to adjust the light. We'll have to check because my lights decided to, well, the light bulbs needed change, and maybe it's a little bit too bright because I've brand new light bulbs in. We'll have to check, but else we'll just have to kind of go with it, I guess. Yeah. And then I said it is crazy. It's Wednesday already. Wow, the week is really flying. Tomorrow, I'm off work. Yay. I'm doing other things though, because it is a bank holiday here in the Netherlands and in Europe in general. Then Friday, we should, according to plans, be live again. That's my plan here. The weather for Waco is conditions are sunny with a temperature of 62 degrees Fahrenheit or 17 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from south at 2 miles per hour and the current humidity is 91. Sounds like it just rained or you woke up to some mist or something like that. Quite humid, yet no wind and sun. Wow. Let's see if I can flip you guys over, and then we will have to see how it goes, if we'll have to sort of darken it or create more contrast or something. But it does look to be okay. So I was thinking we could do the waistcoat a little, and then we could always switch to the hat collectors a little bit. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Obviously, in the end, it is my mood to do whichever I want. The pattern says 4.5mm for this. After my swatch testing, I came out on a 5mm to meet gauge, so I am working with a 5mm. I do also have the other yarns laying should I need more. But yeah, right now it's just about finishing a row of treble crochets. That is the main goal here. So not insanely difficult. It's just treble crocheting along. And if I do read it right, the increases is also done in the trebles. And if that is indeed the case, then I will need to do at least a single crochet row on top of the trebles to be able to do my increases. It is worked from the bottom up, so this is the back piece of the waistcoat, and we are kind of working up, and then it's going to increase a bit to make room for shoulders and stuff like that. That's kind of the plan of it. We are on the back piece. Let's see, because right now I'm just crocheting in the pattern until the piece measures approximately 3, 6, 9, or 12 centimeters. Not sure if I'm on the 9 or 12. I think I'm because I have 6 sizes, but I have 4 different lengths. 1, 2, 3, 4. So which of them belong to me? Pattern doesn't clarify, so there's that. There is that. Susan made the TL Yarncraft a Bernie scarf, a Sophie scarf in crochet, quick make in the cotton bamboo for spring. Whoa, you have been busy, Susan. Rev says, I wish I knew where the weather station for Vaco is because the humidity is always way higher than my weather box says. Oh, well, good question then. Ooh. I don't know what our weather box says. It's all the way across the room next to my partner's computer. That would be probably more appropriate for local, and it's likely going to be a little bit warmer here. We're a little bit further from the river probably, but it also depends on, I guess, where their weather station is hanging. But yeah. A fairly large lake here, so if the weather station is near the lake, then it could skew that. Yeah, that makes good sense. That could make good sense. Lake Waco. That is indeed a big lake, isn't it? I'm like, it's larger than your airport, so. I always think of Texas more as a desert place because of, you hear of the plains and stuff like that, but that's kind of wrong. That is kind of wrong, isn't it? Let me see. Here we go. Laco Lake, Lake Laco. Lake, not Laco, Laco. Can't speak. Lake Waco. That's a decent lake. Well, okay. That region looks deserty of Texas, of the map. But again, it's Google Maps, who knows? It's all of these impressions we have from eventually having at some stage watched television and whatnot, right? Yeah. But that's not always valid either. Texas is mostly grasslands. Waco is in a river flood basin. Aha. I think it's Waco. Waco. Maybe? Waco? Waco? But why wouldn't it have a Y then in it? Pronunciation challenges of life. On the other hand, I guess it sounds much as funny for you guys when I pronounce Nijmegen as in Nijmegen. I don't pronounce the N, even though it's very much there. And I would definitely pronounce the N if I were in Denmark talking to a Dane, but not with a Dutch. But it could be Waco, maybe. I don't know. Like Dane's pronunciation says to me, when the vocals have a quick consonant afterwards, it kind of shortens it up. Waco is more close to have it pronounced. It is named after the Vaconian tribe that used to live here. Ask no questions on where they are now. Vaconian. So not Vaco and not Vaco, but Vaconian. Vaco, maybe. Oh my goodness, I have a letter coming, or I have a parcel coming. I'm going to be right back.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top.
I am back. Had a parcel. I was actually first expecting it to arrive Friday, but I don't mind. I had ordered myself a new batch of contact lenses that was needed because I can't see much without. And they arrived today, so that was nice. But yeah, meanwhile we're just cracking along here, I guess. And I'll have to measure and figure out if I'm gonna be one or the other. Regardless, we will need to do a row of single crochets afterwards, and I do believe I've like 64, 65 or so much stitches on this. I did start it slightly different than the pattern set. It seems stupid to make a chain and then skip stitches in the chain to make treble crochets in them. I'm like, oh fuck it, I'll just do it. I'll skip that part and just do X treble crochets. That's how many that's supposed to be. So I did a foundation treble crochet here. So this is a foundation treble crochet chain. Oh, there is no chain stitches first. I just did a full foundation treble crochet. Yep. If I can show the waistcoat picture, absolutely. Give me one moment, my lady. One moment. Here we go. I don't know. It doesn't really want to pop into. I wish I could like pop it out big, but it doesn't want to. So I'm just gonna see. Yeah, well, it's only the top of her head you're getting cut off, I guess. So isn't super important. But here you are. It's the waistcoat from a Drops Design. they normally recommend, I call it kind of a vest though. They do recommend that you use their charisma yarn and border it with snow, which is both woolen yarns. I didn't want it in wool, so I went ahead and did it in acrylics. And I found that the drops, not the drops, the Hobbies Amigo yarn matched very closely. And therefore, that is the yarn I ended up getting back then. I do have, oh my goodness, some more, of course, for it. And you can't see that now, but I'll just pop over here. So this is all the yarns I have for it. So we have this for the borderline. It's the thick one. That's a bit darker than the rest. And that's basically the plan for the waistcoat. That I'll make it. So there is 2 front pieces, and I'll have to sew it at the centerpiece, I'll assume, and at the shoulders. But further than that, and then I need to make a couple of buttons. I haven't done that yet either. I need to still make the buttons. Oh, sorry guys. I thought I had popped over, but I had not. I do apologize. If I'll make it cropped as a picture, sort of, I think. Because I don't have a ton of yarn. I don't have a ton of yarn, to be honest. I only have yarns. Well, technically, I should have enough yarn to make a size XL, XXL, and a triple XL, which is like a lot. And I don't need that size. So I could probably do an extra row. So it's going to be maybe semi-cropped. That's my kind of question right now. If what I'm going to do exactly. I'm not 100% sure. Because the pattern says, so let's pop over to the pattern for a minute for you guys. The pattern says here the back piece. So I skipped the chains because I just jumped straight to the I need 66 trebles because I'm making the size XL. That should, and I measured this by measuring my bust size basically, and that is the one that gets kind of like the closest. So I did this, and continuing the pattern is the 3 treble crochets and then 1 row of chains, etc. And then it says when the piece measures approximately 3, 6, 9, or 12, and then we have them in inches afterwards, adjust it so that the next row is a row with adjust so that the next row is a treble crochet row, blah blah blah, so we can start increasing. So I need to decide, because it has 6 sizes. If you go up here, you can see here it comes in S, M, L, XL, XX, and triple X, right? And I'm making it in an XL because, well, I need to have room for my boobies. And then it says here, blah, blah, blah. That's a front piece. I don't need that. Here it says basically it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 sizes, 2 sizes, 2 sizes, and 2 sizes would be 8 sizes, but I only have 6 sizes. So I'm either going to be the 9 or the 12. 12 would seem large, and 9 would seem more appropriate. We'll have to see. You know, if it's going to be like 10-ish, I'll be fine. So I think if it's shorter than 9, I'll probably have to do another row of treble. That's my puzzle right now, if that makes sense. So I'm not 100% outlined with to what extent. And it's worked from the bottom to up, so it's worked from bottom up. That's another thing. been so used to working projects down from upwards down. This one is opposite. So far we are going okay. And what we're gonna do is probably we're gonna have to, well, we have to measure height when we're at the end here. And see where we are at. And then make a decision, I guess. Exactly, Susan. Bottom up is tricky to add length. That's kind of why I need to decide before. Good morning, Jay. I saw you got caught in the classic English autocorrect of my name. Don't worry. Not the first time I've seen that happen. Good, good, good. I have one stitch left on this row. Then we will have a look at my measuring tape. I was measuring myself this weekend upstairs, and my partner heard the clicky sound that it makes, and he was like, "What did I hear?" And I was like, "You probably heard this one." He was like, "Yep." He was like, "I was surprised you could hear it through the flooring." It is 6 centimeters. 9 is down here, so we definitely need one more row, which means that we will definitely need one row chains, one row of trebles, and not chains, singles, before another row. So we'll definitely need technically 3 more rows. So we'll start with so this is a single crochet. I just like to get the starting corner marked so don't lose track of my stitches. Then, of course, as I said, I also have some progress made on the heart collectors, and I think we should definitely also get to work on that later today. So we're just working a bit on what we feel like, but not necessarily the same. But I finally got started on this one. This waistcoat is the last of my Shop My Stash and Advent Calendar series that I had planned to make. So I had 5 projects that I wanted to get started on and hopefully also finish during 2026. And this is the last of these projects, including, of course, we also have the card collector shawl being a part of them. 3 of the 5 has been finished, and now I'm working actively on the last 2 of those 5. So I would say that goal is actually going pretty well, and maybe I should make a similar one for this upcoming December. I think that was a nice little series. These are the projects we should make in 2027 and have those as an Advent Calendar series. What do you think? Susan, I managed to get part 1 of the cull done. Part 2's on pause until I finish the last donation blanket. Ooh. Let's have a look. Ooh. It's nice definitions here. Oh, I am sorry about that. I have also been rather tired this past week. I don't know what's been striking me. But yeah, with this weather, it's not really requiring me to do an awful lot. That I shall be honest about. At least not outside, because it is a wet business, so to say. Yeah, I think this is nice. Looks good. We do agree it's two different grays, right? Like you have a lighter gray and a darker gray. I wouldn't call it black exactly. And yeah, I still have a bunch of things I really need to get done, and I haven't yet. I know. That is the downside, of course. It's actually the current 1 pound black. Oh, it looks like a dark gray. Is it more black in real life than the photo shows? Because it's more like a charcoal grayish. Yeah, it's not a true black in my opinion. Yeah, great. We agree. It doesn't look true black to me either. Like, this, my friends, is black. My shirt is black. My teacup is black. Actually, I have a lot of black things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the time really flies these days. Ooh, it almost feels crazy. I do have a few other projects in my planning that I also need to get started on sometime this year. And we just agreed, well, we didn't agree, we measured that I definitely have to do a few more. What we also have, it is the time for the Eurovision Song Contest, for those who's interested in that kind of stuff. I know Amanda loves it, but yeah, it is Eurovision time. The Dutch don't have any contestants participating because I guess there are still sort of saying we don't want to partake in this as long as yeah, well, they weren't happy what happened 2 years ago in Sweden, because our contestant kind of got sidelined. There was a lot of political crap, and then now it's also a lot of people are protesting and blockading, and they don't want to compete because of Israel is allowed to compete. And honestly, that all just tells me, it's much more of a political mess than ever before, because why on earth should real life politics influence a so-called competition? Now, well, this may be a song competition, but I'm meaning, if it's a competition, regardless of it's sport or singing or dancing or whatever we should call it, I don't think politics should be a part of that. It's hurtful for the people who'd like to genuinely contribute. But yeah, oh well, it's kind of what it is. We also found this weekend that there is a new season of a crimi that we're watching on Netflix. So we started watching that, and I have to say, it is so exciting. I cannot craft while I'm watching that. That is as good as impossible. I will definitely need another project if I should attempt crafting while watching that, because it can sometimes be very exciting. But I definitely need some sort of project that I can easily bring with me along. I'm not sure how much time I will have next time I'm away. So next week I will be heading off to Belgium for Pentecost. And I just genuinely do not know if I will have time to craft while I'm there. So I kind of want to make a small project and bring with me, or have a small project I can bring with me. And then, if I have time to craft, I can do it. And if I don't have, it's not going to be, it's not a disaster. It's just going to be a 3-day break, I guess. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Similar to this. What are you guys working on right now? What are you working on? I also finished binge watching Handmaid's Tale. All 5 seasons, done and dusted. It's a very open-ended ending, but I'm not so sure that more will be coming. So. Rev says America is working on a prequel to The Handmaid's Tale at the moment. Yeah. I heard something about the I saw something. I saw an ad for something where it sounded indeed like sounded like a prequel to it all. Yeah. It is a bit crazy to think though, if that could happen in reality. It's not impossible theoretically. Right now it's just, yeah. But we are watching, I don't know if it's translated to English actually. It is a Danish crimi, and it now has 2 seasons. Netflix. Only 3 days and the new Netflix series is already a global hit. Woohoo! The chestnut man is back. Oh, that's what it's called, the chestnut man in English. So for the use of you guys who likes a good thriller, crime, of maybe, I don't know if it's 6 or 8 episodes. I'm unsure how many episodes it has. I will need to check actually, because now I am curious. How many? It is 6 episodes. So I think the first was probably also like 6 episodes. The Chestnut Man. I will share the link to the Netflix news. You can maybe find it yourself if you're keen on watching. But it is really good. It is Danish spoken. I'm sure it has English subtitles if they write about it like this in English. But it is quite good actually. Both the first one and the second one is also quite taking us so far? We have seen, I think, 3 episodes now, 3 or 4. So yeah, that is a warmly recommend without it being too long, right? Because it's just 6 episodes on a season, and there are 2 seasons, so that's 12 in total, and they are like an hour each. Scandinavian Krimi. Well, technically less because they're between 43 minutes and 54 minutes long. So, however you wanted it. But yeah, so that is the current watch, and yeah, we've had 3 episodes so far. I'm sure we'll have another one tonight, knowing us well enough. And so far it is indeed holding us in a bit of attention as to what will happen next. So yeah, warmly recommended watch. I also need to figure out what I am personally going to watch next. So binge watch wise, I have a few things I'd like to watch, and I also have a few things where I'm debating if I should start on that. And I also have a few other things like kind of in my pipeline. So just haven't decided on which I'll jump into yet. Susan says, I watched Remarkably Bright Creatures this weekend with Mom and Sis. Highly recommend film on Netflix. Okay, I will quickly just now when I'm here. Remarkably Bright Creatures. Oh yes, I've seen the ads for this one. I added it to our want to watch list. I've seen the advertisement for this one. I'm just trying to remember where I saw them because I thought I saw the ad for it on TV, and so not like on a Netflix, but like on a TV trailer. During the, I don't know, like during the ads between, like in an ad break. Rev says I linked to the blanket I finished last time up. Chat a bit. I really like how it came out. Did I miss that link? I am sorry if I did. Yeah, you did. I do apologize. Sorry, Rev. I had overseen this one. We have another pretty blanket in the very, very nationalistic colors of the United States of Americas. I like the colors. And I also like the ability that you've had to kind of keep the same stitches every row, in the sense of that kind of almost sort of matches up, or I feel it looks like it, but it doesn't. I see now because I had the feeling, some of them look the same, but I see you do skip some of them. Because that could be kind of fun if you could like the same type of stitch in every row could be the same color. That could also be kind of cool looking. But it looks good still. I like it. Actually, I like this. Susan would like to know what pattern you used, Rev. Stina has a feeling it may be a Yuan pattern because he does a lot of Yuan patterns. It's 2 rows of block stitch, 2 rows of cross doubles, then 2 rows of 2 doubles. Oh, it's not even a yarn. It is Nana June's blessing blanket. Ooh-hoo. Susan think it is a free pattern that she printed out. Yeah, free patterns are always good to have. Da, 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 da. We're almost done with this row, and then we'll have a row of singles. Then we can get to do measuring again. It is a very fast pattern once you get the cadence down. Yeah, that makes sense. I like things that works up in a swift. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? I've been looking for yarns that I think could be very similar to those Millens I have, because I have kind of like 2 half skeins left. And, well, less than half skeins. Well, it's on the edge. But I mean, I don't think that there will be enough, or maybe there will be, but I don't think there will be enough for another chunky rib knit. So I'm like, maybe there's a way to kind of solve it. But so far I just placed them in my stash. I am not buying yarns at the moment. Hint, hint. I should not buy yarns at the moment. Hint, hint. Because I should shop my stash. Or sell out of my stash is also an option. On Sunday, we had a meeting where the drive was discussed, and it seems like we have enough participation. But given it was close, I doubled my pledge from 2 to 4. I want to get the 4th done before Friday so I can wash them and put them in a box and get them sent out on Saturday. Good plan. Blanket 4 I did in 2 days. Oh, this is straightforward, at least. It's just a classic granny X rows, change color. Same amount of rows per color here, or is it just like a feeling based thing? Curiosity me. Anyhow, I came to the conclusion, if I mess up this waistcoat, I will probably end up making a new one and get different yarns. Was my thinking right now. But not yet. Indeed, nice blanket donation. Blanket 3, not 4. So it's meant to be, but my attention was a bit looser. Right, gotcha. Good morning, Lisa. I hope you've had a great sleep and a good weekend or good time generally since last we spoke. And we can turn this row around and do the single crochets. And thank you. Yes, do give me some thummies if you haven't done it yet. Right now we have more watches than we have thummies, so do please give me a thumbie. That is free to do. It costs you nothing more than your time. I had 31 rows on the other granny I did for the drive, but this one ended up being 30. I had added an extra row of white, as this yarn is I have most of. So it went 10 rows of blue, 11 of white, and then 9 of red. But it's close enough unless you count, you won't notice. Yeah, that's a good thing, right? If you don't count, who would know? Okay, so this row is easy because that is a row of single crochet. So that is if I don't catch a split yarn, and I'm trying to kind of keep my tension a little bit looser than what I sometimes can tend to do. And I think I am doing a half decent job at it so far. So there is some positives. Good afternoon, Linlin. Great to see you. Welcome to the live. Have a sit, grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea if you would like to. We have them standing all right at the counter. Also, if you do have a project in the process, feel free to bring your project with you because here we like to craft and chit and chat together. Lisa says, if shipping wasn't so atrocious, I would make some blankets and send them to you. Yeah, well, shipping is really, and it's going to be even more expensive with these petrol prices going nuts, right? So, hey, you yellow-haired guy, can you please quickly solve the issue you created with Iran? Thank you. I mean, that is outrageous nuts. For those unaware, I did actually change my shipping rates on my web shop so that if you reach a certain threshold, basically the more you buy, the cheaper shipping will get. And you do, depending on where you live, get free shipping. I believe in the Netherlands it is 25 euros, in the EU it's 50, and in outside of the EU it's 75. But that means that every time you then meet a threshold, the local shipping rate for you will also decrease. So that is what I've set up, and I am curious to see if that will be working. I also did that as slightly bit intentionally because it was a freaking nightmare to keep track of diverse shipping rates for every country and so on, and to keep those updated. So I just made a guesstimate as to what that would be and what that would cost me, and then I will add a little bit onto the other prices to kind of help cover that. As I said, we're going to hit our goal. That's awesome. Lillian says, I have my green tea and starting on a crochet strawberry bag. Oh, that sounds great. I do have, not a green tea, I do have a black tea hidden in this lovely thermos. It's a black tea. It's called Namixtrots. It is absolutely yum yum. I might actually have the bag. Hang on for a minute. I'm just going to pick it up over here because I would probably need to. It's almost empty, the current one I have, so I almost need a new one. Whoopsie daisy. This, my friends, is the tea I'm drinking today. Except this is a complete new bag because, well, I need a new one. I think I have maybe one mug left on my current. I do apologize for the light. but this is how it looks. It is a black tea, and it's fruitful. It has a fruit taste with raisins and pineapple and cornflower petals. So that is what I'm drinking. Just for funsies, for those that's curious. And I get it at the local tea maker in the town next to me. I also have a few others of their teas, but that one is definitely likely my favorite. You've heard about it a few times. Lisa says, my kids are taking me out for supper on Saturday for a late Mother's Day and my birthday. Well, congratulations. And for those mothers out there, happy belated Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day here Sunday. We went to my in-laws because, well, the drive to my parents is too far, just to say hello and get a cup of coffee. We will intensely visit them this coming summer instead, and hopefully do something nice together. So once I'm done with this row, we will need to measure again to see if I may or may not need one more row of trebles, well, technically 2 more rows, because I need to finish on a row of singles. That is defined by the pattern. So this is the back piece we're working on for that waistcoat. And as I said, I also have the hat collectors next to me, but the hat collectors, we're so far that, well, I'm gonna finish the row I'm currently working on, but I will never be able to finish multiple rows. It's just how it is, because it's so long. It has so many stitches in a row. We are at exactly 9. So this would be definitely be a crop version, I guess. When the piece measures approximately 3, 6, or 9 and 12, adjust so that the next row is a row with, yes, and I need to increase 1 treble in each side. So basically we need to get it to 74 from what I read here. So now we are at 66-ish. We need to get to 74. So that's 1, 2, 3, that's 8 rows. That's like the same as here. So another 8 rows. I guess we are making a crop version, or however long it's gonna be. Because after this, we'll need to decrease for the armholes. But this is when the piece measures 2, 4, there's 6 gauges again here, 20-ish centimeter. Okay. So now that is my question. If I have 66 starting stitches, and I need to increase until I have 74, then we have 68, 70, 72, 74. That's 4 times, that's 4 rows. If I do 9 plus 9, I will get 18, then I will be a row short. So what I probably should do is make 1 more row and then start the increases, because else I will be short in the length for the decrease for the armholes on each side, from what I can read from this. So that, I guess, is what we're going to be doing. We'll do one more row of trebles, then 1 more of singles, and then it's increase time. I'm trying to follow the pattern as closely as possible. which means that I will probably be a centimeter longer rather than 2 centimeters short. So semi-cropped, I guess. Lisa started on another shawl. Well, I'm working on the Christmas makes 3 and 4. Good luck, Lisa. Lisa, I am making the drops 110-27 waistcoat, which is this one. Ta-ta. And I've been looking, and of course she is skinnier than I am. She may be longer than I am. So I'm trying to figure out if I need to add one more row before they increase, or if I increase now. Because let's go down here in the pattern. It's a free pattern, so I can share this all I want in the sense of you can find it yourself. The link is to the description box down below. And so technically you do start with a chain. I skipped this part and I did straight 66 treble crochets. I am working on a size XL because I need to have room for my ladies. Then it says continue the pattern as above. That's 1 row treble, 1 row single, 1 row treble, etc. You do need to end on a single row. Then it says when the piece measures approximately 3, 6, 9, and 12 centimeter, adjust so that the next row is a row with treble, and then we need to increase it until we get to 74. Or it would be, or I would have to do 1 row without increasing in the end to make the 20 centimeters, because then it follows says when the piece measures approximately 20 centimeters. The thing is, right now here with these rows I've done, I'm measuring exactly 9 centimeters. And I've calculated the amount of rows I need for the increase is also the exact same amount of rows I've just done. 9 plus 9 is 18. And that brings me closer to the size large. And then it would get extra cropped. So should I make an extra row here before I start on the increases is the question. That is a feeler. That is a feeler thing. And then we need to decrease for the armholes on each side. And then we need to keep crocheting for the wildest shoulder, blah, 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 but that's different. So do I add 1 more row to keep the right length for under my armpits? It's going to be a centimeter difference, right? So if I add 1 more repeat, I will have it 1 centimeter longer than the initial pattern below the armpits, is what I get from this. We're talking about this pretty beast. So maybe I'll have it a centimeter longer. That's not much, right? So it would make sense, I guess, to make it 1 row longer. Hello and good morning, Sarah. Rev says I would add an next row. That's kind of my estimate. Lisa says, did you go by the finished busy? I assume you mean bust measurements. I did, yes. I did measure the room I should need for my ladies up front. And Rev says better a centimeter longer than too short. Yeah, and a centimeter, it's not much, right? Like, come on, it's this much. It makes sense. A bit less cropped is not as bad as a girl is being crowded. And Lisa agrees 1 less centimeter could really be annoying. Exactly. So, and I'll have 2 less based on the size. So we will do 1 more repeat. And then it's increased time. But then, my friends, when we have done that, maybe then it's time for me to switch projects when we get there. Because we do have the Hat Collector Shawl, which is looking at me straight to your left for me. And it is really looking at me being like, hey. I'd love some attention, which you definitely should have. So instead of chaining, I stack single crochets, and to get a treble, I stack 3 single crochets. That is what seems working best for me, and that is why I can, for those curious, have a reasonably nice non-slanted edge. It gets very clean. I wouldn't have that if I worked in 3 chains. I would like have something that looks like a gap. So that is my secret. I always stack when I'm working back and forth. It looks so much nicer than a chain if no chain is needed. With a few exceptions, I do work chains. It kind of depends on, of course, of what is needed. But in this case, I think also stacking them looks better. So yeah, that is what we are doing. We're adding 1 more row to this. And then I can start increase for the ladies. But if I will increase today, it's another story. Lisa says I also do stack 99% of the time. I don't blame you, girl. It just looks nicer, doesn't it? And we are kind of sort of back to me being like, oh, I'd love to do stuffs. I have been productive in May so far, so that's a good thing. I will definitely need to go through some of my scrap yarns as well. I do have some cottons laying around needing to do various stuff with. And I think one of them, I think I've planned a bucket hat for it. I do have a few bucket hats planned. So maybe that's what I'm going to end up doing. As I said, I am going to be away for a couple of days during Pentecost. And maybe what I need to do is I just need to bring yarns for a bucket hat because, you know, bringing that along with me, I won't have time to finish the project there, I think. And that is small enough for me to easily bring it with me to not be in the way. So that is probably not a too bad idea. I should start looking for that yarn. Speaking of productivity, I've used 9 skeins so far this month and 74 for the years. Awesome! Well, speaking of productivity, I should say, guess if I have managed to decrease my stash so far this year, but actually I can reveal to you that we are slowly, currently, actively on a light decrease. I have physically also decreased it a bit in the sense of I have 2 makes which has left the home, and well, the others haven't. But the yarn is used from my stash, and at some stage those makes will also leave the home. So that's positive. So for 2026, currently it looks for me to be in a negative. But I also know that I am at some stage likely to obtain some yarn this year. So the goal is still that in the end it should be less than, like I should have obtained less than I have used, right? But I do have a few things that I likely have to obtain some yarns for, but we will have to see how that goes. I have still not been very good at following through on the getting posts sorted and stuff like that, for actual postings, both on Facebook Marketplace as well as on my web shop. That is my fault. Susan has sent a photo of her finished silver needle t-shawl. Thank you for the pattern. Well, I am super happy that you got happy with it. And girl, it's been 13 days. You made that in 13 days. Well done. Let me go find it. Meanwhile, oh, confirmation. You received your parcel. Yes, I know. I picked it up just an hour ago. I have so many mails for people wanting to get stuff from me. And we need to, well, that was the email. Here we go. Look at this gorgeous, gorgeous shawl with the royal candy from Pleta Yarns in Bulgaria. It is gorgeous. Very gorgeous. Susan says she made the project a priority. And this is the result of the pattern that Susan won on my Podiversary Live. That was a really, really fun one. Maybe we should, like, we could do like a similar one. Like we can start do celebrations when I hit X amount of subscribers or stuff like that. Not a bad idea. I will, depending on what's next. Then I will. So right now I'm at least on the front page it says 1,670 subscribers. So that is a 330 subscribers short of 2,000. When I hit 2,000 subscribers, we will make a live, and in that live, we will host another pattern giveaway. I really liked the suggestion as to how we could do this, and that also could benefit you guys across the pond, because with all those tariff shit going on, it is a bit more difficult to send post back and forth. And therefore, we optioned for this as an alternative. So I think this could be a great idea. So when I hit 2,000 subs, we will do another live and that's going to be one of these classic afternoon lives, where we will do another Ravelry pattern giveaway for those on that live. Yes. Lisa says, absolutely stunning, Susan. Susan says, thanks, it was a fun make. Sarah says, it's gorgeous. I agree, it is gorgeous. Susan says, I may do the Pure T-shawl next. I have done the Pure T-shawl. And in fact, that shawl version I made, I ended up putting up for sale on my shop. So we could pop over here and give it a look. That is the Pure T-shawl you have right here. We can pop it up in big photos. That is the Pure T-shawl in a Stanley Muffin Mini Luxe cake that I had in my stash. I made this last summer. We have the full flat lay. And we have the front showing photo here of the Pure T-shawl. That was actually also quite fun make. I did end up, because this pattern doesn't have a repeat, so I did end up adding a semi-repeat myself to get some extra rows because I still had yarns left, with something that kind of added up, because this row down here is similar to the row here. But you can't fully add this row because the stitch count doesn't match for adding it there. Just a fun fact. So this is at my web store. I have linked to my web shop as well in the description box down below. At least that should be there, if I've done it right. It should be there. Yep, it's there. So yeah, in a bit more than 300 subscribers, we will have another pattern giveaway, is my decision. And we'll have a look at what is the winner's wish list, and you may be so lucky that you win a pattern. Red Teapot is getting ready to release new pattern soon. I've seen. I need to catch up on making her shawls. I have not caught up yet, and I haven't made the silver needle tea shawl. I have it in my pattern vault, but I've not made it yet. I agree, she did a fantastic job. Absolutely. Meanwhile, I'm just, accepting the fact that I'm not good enough at executing some stuff. Like, I have the best of ideas, but sometimes the time and energy to execute has not been kind to me. I need to get slightly better at that. Rev says, I was cutting up some yarn as it had a stupid amount of yarn buff when I tried to get it from the center pool. Oh, goodness. Hate those. I wanted to do center pool in this one, and then I managed not to. Susan says, thank you, everyone. Thanks mostly to Stina for the pattern and inspiration. Well, you're very welcome. I love to help and inspire people, even though we may not make the same makes. But Red Teapot actually does have some extremely nice patterns. And as I said, that pattern is a pattern that I actually did buy, but I never got around making it yet. I should at some stage, right? But Lisa says, I'm thinking I'll make the new pattern as my last Christmas shawl. That's a good idea. And we have just one stitch left in this row. Then we'll need to turn and do a bunch of single crochets again, and then we should be at the right for the increases. And that's what I'm saying. Then it's time to shift projects, because looking on the time, it's about halfway through this stream, and I would definitely like to work a bit on both projects today. Lisa says, Ref, you could make them with larger yarn if you wanted. Just make less repeats. Definitely also a possibility. Yeah. Reminds me, I still have this urge to get started on something design-wise. Just had a new idea, but that's for knit, and I'm not sure if it's gonna actually work out. And I would still need to like take the time and sit down and physically look into it. And the thing is, I don't feel that that necessarily will be extremely useful for my goal of decreasing my stash. Rose says, I have a bit of a backlog on projects at the moment. Well, I have a bit of backlog on yarn. If that's valid to say. Like, I'm not at 74 skeins used so far this year. Nope, nope, nope. Maybe a third of that? Nah, bit more than that, but Lisa says, yeah, me too. I was thinking out loud. I might start the Galaxy Corner to Corner blanket as a side project when I finish this donation blanket. The crochet along is just too complicated for a couch project. That's the thing, right? I have that as well. So partially the Heart Collectors could work as a couch project, but right now with the Crimmy we are watching, well, we have 3 episodes left, so that's another 3 hours. But I mean, that's just too exciting for me to even have a project with me. Like, it's good. Warm recommend to watch The Chestnut Man. They have 2 series so far, 6 episodes in each series. It is a Danish crime, so it is spoken in Danish, but they do have subtitles. Warmly recommend. Watch on Netflix if you do have Netflix. Then I will recommend. Lisa says, don't we all think about projects faster than we can actually stitch them? Susan, of course, laughs, and so should I, because, oh, yes. How do you think I ended up with this much yarn, Lisa? Because Steen was like, oh, I can use this yarn for this project. Okay, buying. And this yarn for this project, buying. Oh, this could be such nice shawl, buying. But I've gotten better at not doing that. Now I've actually gotten a little bit better at actually. That's also the concept of this Advent series I made, you know, that in December with the Shop My Stash and Advent calendar, because I'm physically actually working up on some of those projects right now. So there are progress seen as well. But I'm genuinely also very good at imagining and finding projects quicker than it's physically possible to make them. Absolutely. And we'll have my last stitch going into this. There we go. So technically, if I keep the gauge, I should have like 12-ish centimeters now. Before we'll have to start on a increase. Oops, not in inches. We need the centimeters. Well, it is actually less. It is 11. But that's kind of perfect, actually. And maybe, you know, if we did a little minor stretch, it's still, and then it's 11.5. It's still perfect. Good length. Fine. Increase time, except not now. We are gonna work on that later, or I am gonna work on this later, because we are gonna do some heart collectors. Heart collectors show. Gorgeous, I think. So we'll fold this one up. Well, I'm gonna fold it a bit shorter. Ta-ta. We still have a little bit of a skein left here. 5mm crochet hook is what I've been using, and we will head along with the increases. Another good time. Megan says, "Yay, heart collectors! Indeed, heart collectors time." Yesterday, I did weave in some ends from a row 4 rows ago. A row 4 rows ago. That sounds funky. But that is what I did. These are definitely from something much, much more recent. Yep, they are. So I'm not touching those. I am currently on one of these more airy rows. So let's see if I can actually explain this nicely. Here we have, so I did this here, also in this row. So this is like a bunch of chain, like chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. But here in the bottom, we skip 2 stitches instead of skipping 1. So it's like, here we do, up in the tips, we do chain 2 instead of chaining 1. That's roughly the difference. I am working on towards the end. This is what I'm missing on this row. So I'm already past the tip and on the top second half for this particular row. I'm not sure. I think it's row 43, 42, 43 or something along those lines. I would have to double check. But honestly, I don't need to find the pattern until I am closer, because right now I can work this without looking at the pattern because it is simple. I don't need a lot of counting. So that's positive. Megan says it's looking great. Thank you, Megan. And it is definitely growing, and it's definitely flaring out for sure. It is a humongous project, which I genuinely wouldn't know if I would want to do again. Well, I do have yarns to do another one, so I am open to do it, but maybe I would make a smaller version because it's a bit thicker yarns, so automatically a bit thicker yarns would make a bigger project. So maybe I would make the small version with that yarn because of that automatically turning out a bit bigger. It's not a bad idea, actually. Oh, I don't need to chain here. I just need to skip. So I'd kind of hoped that we would have finished this row, or I would have finished this row before this live, but well, I didn't have enough time to do so. And it's okay, you know, it's not like it's urgent. And reality is, as I said, we are now in so many stitches per row that it is more or less impossible almost to to complete a row. I think we're almost at 1,000 stitches now per row. I mean, I should not try to calculate how many stitches in total. Or maybe I should just because of curiosity, but I mean, I did that with Fleur, and that was like 64,000 some odd stitches, which is crazy, right? I'm a bit stalled by the thought of it. So I still wanted to make a waffle stitch poncho, sit down and actually look into potentially designing one. The question is, would a Lion Brand mandala type yarn turn too chunky in a waffle stitch? Or would it work out fine, do you think? Maybe it's not too bad. If I compare it to what I made the Waffle Chicks Rock West, I think the mandala cakes are slightly thinner than the yarn I used there. So it could probably work as long as I wouldn't use a too tiny crochet hook. I would likely need to up the hook size. I'm having ideas, you know, I'm brainstorming ideas for myself right now. But the next challenge I have is that I don't have enough of that yarn to complete what I wanted to complete. So if I go that direction, then I will need to breach our do not buy yarn concept. Well, I don't have a rule for not buying yarn. I'm just trying to not buy yarn. We'll have to see. But I'm meaning not Wool House. It's called something Valbien, which is a German brand. They have yarns which I'm inclined to say is Lion Brand Mandala. They may have different colors, but you know, it is yarns that I can easily procure here because of it being German. It's called Valbian Cupcake. Let me pop over for you guys. Look here. This is the colors they have. Do not tell me that this isn't just Lion Brand Mandala, but in different colors. Right? Like, because this one looks very much like, is it Spirit? We have a rosy red one. Then we have this one. We have this rainbow colored one. More like a darker reddish toned one. And this one. We have gray tones. We have yellows and reds. We have more rainbow colored. Then we have this one, which is grays, blues, purplish, or I think it's sort of a dark purple bluish. We have this one in purples, grays, and pinks. This one is sold out, but still. And they are €5.19 per skein. And this is interesting. It's 100% acrylic. It's 150 grams to 540 meters. If I look at the exact same on Lion Brand's, what did I just say before that they were named? Mandala. It's the same. It's the same length. Everything is the same. The colors are the same. I would like to say this is Lion Brand Mandala, except it's just a different label because it's the Volbian label that's slapped around it, but I bet it's made on the same factory. This I can procure. Free shipping from 49. I don't know if that's international. It could be interesting to see. About fact, terms of shipping policy, which is all in lovely. Delivery, and in countries next to them, Netherlands. Well, I will have to pay for shipping in the EU based on kilo price. So no free shipping, that's only in Germany. But still, they're like €5.20 a piece. What are they for funsies? What are they at Lion Brand? I'm just gonna compare because don't tell me it's not the same yarn. It is. It's looking so similar. Acrylic. Though this looks gorgeous, their gradient yarn, but that's not what we're looking for. And it's not the Madara bonus. It is also not the thick or the ombre or the baby. It is the regular ones. Look, it's $8.99. They do have more colors though, but like, I mean, this one was the one they had sold out. Spirit they had. Mermaid they also kind of had. So, and this one they definitely also had Cupid. But it's just, you know, it's the same. But for $8.99, this is their normal price. Let's just for funsies do check on exchange rate, which would be USD, and it is €8.99. That's €7.67, and I would pay €5.20 for the same yarn. Like, Mandala is expensive. Funsies. Totally irrelevant right now, but you know. I think Wool Warehouse has a similar one called Elvis, very likely. The sold out one is 100% Lion Brand Mandala in the colorway Hades. I made a duster in that yarn. That's my point. It is, I would say 99.9% because that leaves that tiny little gap of there is room for unsecurities or whatever you want to call it. That leaves a tiny gap, right? But generally speaking, that really looks good, I think. So yeah, I could option to see if I could snatch that. There's also a Dutch store who actually resells it here, so I don't know if they may have better prices on it. I didn't check. Could also be that they charge more, but then it's the next question is then, depending on how much you need, it doesn't make sense. Like if I can get free shipping, then one can compare the prices with shipping. Let's see here if they still have it. Cupcake. They charge €6. So they have upped the price a little bit, but that's due to obviously they imported it from Germany and threw it on their own web store. Megan says, I think I missed it. What did you want to make with it? I wanted to see if I could manage to design a poncho in the waffle stitch, like, or just a poncho in general. Doesn't necessarily need to be one like in waffle stitch. I have this idea that could be nice. I would though color control, which would mean I would have to cut up yarns, plenty of them. That's because, well, if one can make it gorgeous, why wouldn't one make it gorgeous? So that is my thought of it. Popping over, this is the duster that Ref made in that same yarn. And Land Brand's Mandala Hades, a color. I'm quite sure we have seen this one before. Looks like a nice one to cuddle up in. It's a cuddle up size. Lisa says, I firmly believe that yarn sold by the few different that yarn is sold by a few different companies. I firmly believe that too, Lisa. But you know, technically, we probably firmly have to say that we are just 99.9% sure it's done, maybe 99 even. But you know, I firmly believe there's always room for, oh my goodness, we might not be right, but in the case, we need to make room for not being right. I was watching Creative Grandma's stream yesterday and they were talking about the Land Brand sale. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe the Land Brand sale could like sort of like sometimes they do have the sales where they do like 30% off, right? And buy 3 skeins, get 3 free and select colors. It ends in 33 hours. That's actually a good price. I mean, that's 50% discount on set colors, on set yarns. Wow. But my problem is I will then have to import it from the US. So I'll need to pay for shipping and then I need to pay import fee and 21% value add tax on top. So let's say I buy yarns for €100, including shipping. And then I get to pay €21 on top on tax. But yeah. Ooh. I also have some of their mandala string yarns, but from ice. I think it is. So just to get the mandala brand on it will cost me a fortune. But it is actually a pretty good sale. For ladies, gentlemen, this is where I'm dabbling. Buy 3, get 3 on select colors. So buy 3, get 3 on select colors below, including yarn kits. Discounts will appear when multiple of 6 are added to the chart. Not to the chart, to the cart, but still, offers valid until today, basically. Well, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. It's another 23 some odd hours. So if you're in the US, this is definitely a good price because on select colors, if you buy 6, you can get 50% discount on Lion Brand. I mean, they're definitely not looking bad. Slimmer. I'm curious to see how it looks. Oh, there are new ones, new colors. Look, very nice and bright. But I mean, you know, Bowtackle, Doxy, Slimmer, Mantis, Moonback, Kappa, Hercules. This is also gorgeous, but it's sparkly. But that's also gorgeous. Woohoo! Oh yes, please. Are we not more sparklies? And then you have the string, which I said I have some of these string yarns, but in another brand. Woolies, they also have, and it's just select color, so it's only the colors on this page or these pages. More woolies, onyx, ara, blah blah, Shanettes, funky yarns, Insta knit. Nah. They can give me some of those mandalas. That looks to be pretty much it because we're just at Instant now. Yeah, that's it. So honestly, that first page is the really interesting yarns, in my opinion. And it's a good price if you're in the US, but for me, I would need to buy like a lot to get like a really good price on this. Oh well. Hello, Lorian. Welcome to this live. We were just dabbling in Lion Brand yarn, being like, there's a great sale if you're needing Lion Brand yarn. As I said, my challenge with those yarns is that while this price is actually insanely good, then before I've covered shipping and import tax, it's still likely cheaper for me to get the dupe here in Europe. These days, the new sales yesterday was 25% discount. Well, definitely better sale today, as long as it's only one of the select colors you're looking into getting. Like, but there was a few new colors between, and they were gorgeous. Lisa says, I have the string from Ice, personally not a fan. I got them from Papatia yarns. Trying to see if I can find that. It's called, I think it's called Sunday by Papatia. But I have it in my stash. We're gonna go through it at some stage when I'm sorting it all. So yeah, not happening. Lauren says, Lilac, Night Sky, Mantis, and Navy are so beautiful. Well, they are gorgeous. Rev says, increase your stash by like 300 cakes of mandala and that sell, and you would be having saving so much money. Very valid. Then I would definitely be saving, but you know, you'd be set for two lifetimes at least. Lauren asked where I'm from. I am from, well, that depends. I'm originally from Denmark. It's in Europe. I'm Danish native, but I live in the Netherlands, which is also in Europe. So I am in Europe. Therefore, getting the sales from Lion Brand is not as cheap for me as they look for you guys. I think if I had lived in the US right now, I would definitely just have gotten 6 skeins off. I would have gotten 6 skeins of Lion Brand Mandala. I would have. Lauren says, shipped and stops. That's too much for me. I'm from Belgium. That's. I have the same issue. Lauren, I'm in the Netherlands, not far from Belgium. I'm actually going to Belgium in a week and a half time. I will be in Genk, in the city of Genk, in during Pentecost. So not that far. So the question is, Lauren, are you a French speaker or a Flemish speaker, or you're one of the few German speakers in Belgium? I know they have all three. You live around Brussels. Yeah, I'll be in Brussels. Well, not far from Brussels. I will be in Herent during, well, it's in October. I'll be a weekend in Herent for an event. Flemish. Yes, Flemish. So yeah, I speak Dutch, so I could speak Dutch to you and you would understand it. Though I can't speak crochet Dutch because I've never talked technical crochet with Dutch people, actually. I've always just, done either English or Danish. Herent with a T, Herent. So around Leuven. So, yep. You will find me in the Netherlands somewhere between Arnhem and Nijmegen. That is where I live. Lauren says Leuven is not my thing. My grandparents live there. Well, I'm not going there for a vacation. I am going there for an event where I help co-host. So I will be there to help organize an event, and that's pretty much it. Inherent, that is. And I know it's in the area or vicinity of Leuven. So, yep. A couple of years ago, we went to Antwerp for a prolonged weekend. That was actually quite nice. Lauren says, don't go to the Gezusters Grigoristraat. One tip. Okay, good to know. Probably won't. I don't think I have time to actually see stuff because I will, as I said, I will be there at an event and it will take place in a sport hall. So I'll probably see a hotel and a sport hall most of the time. And that's first in October, so that's gonna be a while. But yeah, nice to meet you. Are you working on something today or just hanging out? Here I am getting closer and closer to finishing this row on this freaking gorgeous shawl, which I could very much use today in this cold weather. Lauren is working on a flower bouquet blanket. Nice. Guess what? We also have coming up, but that's probably first going to be next row. Cake change. Not color change, but cake change. We are going to have then the last cake before the actual color change. But look how little there's left. Just a few. Just a few. So that is going to be nice. Yep, I love changing cakes and colors. It's a little party when it happens. Meanwhile, the weather in Winkler in Canada currently is 58 degrees Fahrenheit or 14 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from southeast at 7 miles per hour and the current humidity is 47. And Lisa, guess what? It is warmer at your place than it is here. Here it's 9 degrees Celsius. Maybe it's 10 now because it's gotten a bit further along the day, but I mean, it's cold. Like it feels like autumn, and it's been raining all day. Like, well, it's not raining now, but it's been showering. Oh, we are hit 11 degrees Celsius. Woohoo! It's getting warmer. But still, I mean, it's colder here than this at your place, which is on its own pretty impressive. Yep, too damn cold. At least it says it's supposed to go to 22 degrees this afternoon. Oh, nice. I could use some of those degrees here. I understand you're happy. Definitely. Instant happy. Yes. We're all instant happy for Lisa getting warmer. Yay. It's been cold for you guys as well this winter. That's been crazy. But my quick calculations is I would probably be better off buying the yarn locally then. I get free shipping or post and then pay a little bit more for the yarn because in the end I will need to buy a lot more yarn otherwise to kind of make up for it shipping wise. So yep. If I get to go there where I would like to get it. Yeah, party at the beach down at Copacabana. Yeah, nope. Yeah, not here. Here it is chilly. So there are no pina coladas. Just tea. Lots of it. Lots of it. Lots of nice tea. That's a song. Oh. I don't think I'm familiar. Like when I'm thinking about these summer songs, I do go a little bit back to the Dutch sort of Europop band Venga Boys. Susan says 2026 is the year of working up your yarn stash. So Susan, the issue is I will never ever be able to make up the yarn stash in 2026. But I am on a negative compared to the yarn obtained for 2026, so I have decreased actively. So that's good. Lauren is asking if I have an action in my area. I do. I do have an action, but I don't think they have that many nice yarns, to be honest. and I really don't need to buy more yarn. That's genuine. You will find that I have done, is it 8 or 9 episodes of Sort My Stash for 2026, and I'm like 10 years into my current life expectancy of yarn, and I still have more. They have chenille ones. Yeah, I have also some chenille yarns in my stash. I also made scrunchies with some of them. I have them posted on my website. I have a website where I sell my makes. Now I need to check this pattern actually. What did I say? Row 40 some odd. 35. Nope. More. 30. 40. 43. Chain 3, 2 double crochets in the same, 1 double crochet in the next. Chain 1. That means at the end we will chain and double crochet in the second last stitch, and then three doubles. Ooh, is tiny. It's tiny sometimes. So that was row 43 complete. We are about to start row 44, and we are having very little left on this cake. So what I actually want to do is, my friends, we're gonna pull this a little bit closer. Look, I only have like 3 rounds on the cake left, so we'll spin this one off. We need to find my scissors. And look, we have the color change point, but we are gonna cut because I have one more cake we need to add on, because I'm working with 3 cakes to get this one done, right? So we are doing 3 cakes. Three cakes of the Hobby Twister yarn, for those curious, in the colorway Rhubarb and Cream. Ta-ta, Hobby's Twister. So this normally would fit around. Now it's a little bit too big. We're changing because, as you can see, I have one more cake with the dark around, so we need that done first. And then this one is the last, and then we'll keep it on until we have done this, until we hit the color change point. Ba-bum. So we pop this one down in the container. Because I don't think, or are they small enough now to stay in the same? That would be kind of neat if they are. Just a moment. I have all these boxes where I keep my yarn in, but I'm trying to kind of keep track of it. It would be really, really neat if they can actually fit in the same now. Yes! Because I have 2 of the same dye lot, so I tend to keep those 2 collected. Cake. We are fitting 2 in a crate now. We couldn't that in the beginning. That is awesome. Then no need to worry as much about getting them mixed up. So we have this one ready to go. And yep, good. I just need to read through the pattern. Meanwhile, I spot that Lisa is sending mail. Lisa says, Stine, one day I'd still like to do a yarn swap with you, Canadian for European. Definitely open for that, Lisa. Abso-freaking-lutely. We should do that one day. One day out in the future when I have an overview of all of my yarn. I would say when we have that overview, then we can start looking at that. You had snow last week? That's crazy. But yeah, just hit me up by an email and I'll have a look at it when we get there. I have the feeling I dubbed something, but I didn't. Lauren says, do you speak a lot of Dutch normally? I speak Dutch on a daily basis with my partner. My partner is Dutch. That's why I live here. Fun fact for you guys, we have been together for a bit more than 18 years. I feel really old. But my Dutch partner is the ultimate economical reason why I live in the Netherlands. If I did not have him, I would be in Denmark right now. But yeah, I speak Dutch on a daily basis, so the pronunciation of Dutch brands and so on works fine. So like scheepjes, not schepjes, but scheepjes. Lauren says she said cake a lot, yeah. Or Nijmegen. Nijmegen is close to where I live. So yeah, I can't pronounce those, but it's taking time. My accent has definitely become much more Dutch-like than it was in the beginning, but still the real Dutch native speakers will hear in me that I'm not native Dutch. Like they can hear a light accent, like as if I were German, though I'm not German, but I do speak German. I do speak German. I just need to give me one moment. I just need to read a pattern here because we finished row 43. And then we are going to start row 44, which has an awful amount of stitches, to be honest. Holy crickle. Anyhow, so we'll stack. So we'll have to fill it up again with regular double crochets, which means that we enter the hook and we flip the work around, and we will stack 2 singles to create a double because it looks so much nicer. We all agreed about that earlier today. There we have the 2 stacked, and then we'll have to do another 2 doubles, at least if it goes like it has so far, which I'm kind of expecting it to do. Yes. Then the next 16 stitches we will need to double crochet, and then we do skip 2, and it looks like we'll have an increase on top, which kind of makes sense. Well, 2, 4, 6, 7. Well, we'll see. We start by doing 16 doubles. Yeah, no, but I have family from Poland. It's the same thing. Yeah, right. Lisa says, I sent an email. Read it later off stream. I'll read it tonight, Lisa, after dinner, and give you a reply. That should be fine. What? Do you have dinner plans? Anyone? My dinner plans today is potatoes with fish fillet. And this is what we have left of that cake. So that is the current plans we have. You flip it. Well, yeah, I got to the end, and we are working on the other end of the row now. So I work back and forth on this shawl, and I think we are somewhere between 900 and 1,000 stitches in a row. I can calculate it if you guys want me to, but I'm not really sure if I'd really want to know, because that is scary much a lot. Lauren says, I'm going to say it in Dutch as I cannot translate it. It does not work in my head. Yeah, sure, no worries. Maybe I can translate it. But some things can't be translated either. Like, you know, in Dutch, we would say het regent stalen pijpen, but it sounds absolutely horrendous in English. Ah, okay. So Lauren's dinner is going to be a rode kool and potatoes with some chicken. So rode kool is a red cabbage. It's a red cabbage, which is nice. We had rode kool on Monday. I just remember, and we had crispy chicken schnitzel to go with that. This should be 16 if I've done good. Need to count for a minute. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Bingo! I love when it works. So I need to skip 2, and we work into chain spaces. And then I need, I think they said 6. So we'll actually have to see, this was 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that matches. And did I have a double up there? I think I might have. Which means that we are increasing by a lot of stitches in this row. 2, 2, 2. Yes. This is a big increase. Stitzels are great. I agree. I do agree. But since we had Schnitzel earlier this week, well, my partner would love if I would serve him Schnitzel twice in a week, but that's just not happening. That is why we're going for the fish fillet tonight. So I need to peel some potatoes when this live ends in 40 minutes-ish. So Lisa says it's really close to cabbage in Plattdeutsch. Probably. In Danish, it would be rødkål, which is also like, yeah, I don't know how that will work in any other language, but we have 2 words for cabbage, either kål or komst. I don't know why we have 2 words. I don't know either, but kål would probably, yeah, that's like a kale. So it's a red kale, red cabbage. Yeah. Something along those lines. So 2, 4, 6. So that should be 8 in total if I calculate this correctly. It is. 8 in total on each side of the tips. And down here we were at 7, so we are increasing. But, my friends, we have another challenge. We need yarn. And Stine has yarn. Stine has yarn. 2. Do only have the idea that I'm pulling it from the different direction, so I will actually flip this one upside down. Yep, that pulls nicer. 2, 2, 2, 2. We will have yarn. I have the feeling maybe I should unravel a little bit just to make sure I have enough to weave in ends. There we go. They have some really nice, there's some really nice shawl patterns, by the way, by Polish designers. Now, when you mentioned you were Polish, they have some insanely gorgeous designs. So I have enough yarn here to weave in ends. Maybe I could have done with shorter, but I'd rather have them a little bit longer than too short, because too short can cause a whole different set of issues. So we skip, because I do not recall. Yep, skip 2. Skip 2. I have a feeling of so sudden and new. I felt the moment I laid eyes on you. My pulse is rushing, my head is reeling. Yeah, my face is flushing. What is the feeling? Fervid as a flame does. Does it have a name? Yes. Good question. We are in riddle world. Language shows the importance of something more than words for something more than important. The Inuit has 100 words for snow. The Irish have 500 words for whiskey. And the British 1,000 words for bland. Yeah, there's definitely, we talked about it before, right? Even in English, there are different dialects of different words, and there are just words that's ultimately so different. Like you're not in doubt, and based on some words alone, you can actually hear on people where they're from. I was back when I was still working with the customer support. We had a customer calling us. I was working with the Danish customers, but this guy was calling, and he was a little bit gibberish Danish, so he was not the best Danish. And I could just hear in his accent so clearly this Kiwi accent. So I said to him, if it's easy for you, we can talk English. Like, to me, it sounds like you're from New Zealand. He was like, "Yep, I immigrated 2 years ago." I was like, "Okay." And he actually did prefer talking in English, so we did the whole call in English instead. But that was a bit fun. Ah, song from Wicked. Right. I haven't seen Wicked. I've not seen Wicked. Nope. But yeah, I agree with Susan. I should use up my stash. for as far as possible, but I am tempted to do a few things. I should have my temptations as long as I use more than I buy. I guess. And I still probably have some yarns that I'm not really sure if I'd ever make something with, so I'm probably ending up either giving it away or selling it. If it's not speaking enough to me. We'll be back at doing giveaways once the tariff stuff is gone. Doei! I don't really speak or understand much Plattdeutsch, I just know a handful of words. Always good. The devils, yes. Well, I am doing my best to not buy yarn. Well, I have bought this year, but it's been limited. Very limited. So one of my viewers suggested me, so I still have, 2 skeins left of that rainbow yarn I made the 2 bucket hats in, and they suggested me to make a child size with the last instead of doing a different colored brim and so on. I don't know. Should I do a child sized? Definitely plausible. Rev says, I mean, you could just buy the yarn. I could buy plenty of yarn, couldn't I? Financially, I can also just buy the yarn. Susan is trying to stop me. The difference is just, Rev, she don't stop you because you use up the yarn quicker than the rest of us. I have the feeling you don't sleep, you don't eat, you just only crochet. Susan says, me, I can stop her from buying yarn. Yeah, you probably should though, that's true. But I mean, there is genuinely a few things that would be really nice to have. Rev is trying to bring some balance to the chat and some more yarn to the chat. Susan is the angel on your shoulder. I am the devil mixing the drink at the bar. And yeah, what am I? The tempted soul. The very tempted soul. Lisa was exactly thinking angels and devils. Right now I'm just thinking, oh, yarn, my friends, yarn, my friends. I would like to get some yarn. But I really shouldn't. Because we all know that I do have yarns that I do need to use at some stage. So yeah. Ooh. Got some special yarns in that box as well. What we are having to go through in the next sort my stash. I also do have a few American yarns, like real American brands. Like I do think I have a mandala bonus or something like that, or a cupcake, and a Karen cake of some kind. I think I might have, but it's just single ones which I got like a long time ago, and I'm a little bit inclined to not use. And I also have some yarns from another yarn store from you guys, or hobby store, and it's not Joann's and it's not Michael's. But what do you have of similar brands? There's one more. They sell Yarn Bee because it's Yarn Bee yarn. What is it called again? You know what I mean. And Susan is trying her best to be the angel to help me. Hobby Lobby. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, I do have some Hobby Lobby yarn actually in my stash, believe it or not. But it's so few, and I like currently no idea what to make with it. One of them I'd like to make a shawl from. Oh yeah. It's one great truth of reality that only way to remove temptation is to give in to it. It's that. Well, but the problem is, if you then keep getting tempted, then at some stage, it's also not good for you. Like, you know, chocolate is also a temptation of mine, but if I keep eating a bar of chocolate every day, at some stage, it's not going to be good for me anymore. So then at some stage you do need the angel on your shoulder to tell you to not do it. I've actually been quite good this week. I bought lots of fruits instead of like the classic snacks. So I've like 3 apples laying around. I have a couple of mandarins. I do have bananas. I also have some grapes, pitless, so stoneless grapes. So that's nice, or seedless grapes. Lisa, yarn you buy and yarn immediately use does not count as never went in the stash. Okay, so I just immediately need to buy it, and it's not counting. That is the solution. Well, I didn't count the yarn that I sent to my mom. Well, I technically got it delivered at my mom's place and had her start knit something for me. I did not count that yarn in my stash. And it's also not something I'm using. So yeah, I guess, that was, I think 4 or 5 skeins, right? And I really hope I can fit the finalized project and it looks good. If it does, I will promise to show you guys, but it is first gonna be summer, like end of July-ish. And knowing her, she's probably finished by then. I don't know. Halfway done now? I have no idea. She knits fast. And when she's in the mood. But she has been a bit tired because she had a little bit of a mishap Thursday. And yeah. So she was being checked. But luckily the doctors found nothing wrong. and changed a bit on her meds. But she has been a bit tired since. So I don't know if she's been knitting much the past few days. Lisa's playing the violin. Rome is burning. Let's enjoy all the fiddling. Rome wasn't built in a day regardless. And if it's burning, it takes longer to build. And if we classify that as my yarn stash as Rome being built, with my yarn stash being empty, then I guess Rome is quite often burning. Poor Romans. Poor Romans. Oh, that was wrong. I was a stitch too soon. But then it's good we check stuff. That we check it for any potential mistakes. That means this cake, my friends, we can just keep going until the next color because, duh, we have done two already. But it's not going to happen today. The plan is also we'll be live on Friday. And then we can continue all of our projects by then. Would I have started other new projects by then? No, not so sure. Meanwhile, Lisa is hoping to finish the sock today. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Your Christmas socks. I should probably still sit down and learn to knit socks at some stage because that is, I will really need to be able to knit socks when my mom isn't here anymore if I want to be able to knit my own. Or I will have to ask like my auntie or somebody else. And at some stage she won't be here either because, well, that's how life is, right? Rev is asking if Lisa has seen the bendy needles for sock knitting. We discussed about them, I think, last week, the week before. Should be easier than double pointed needles, which is probably something from me. Lisa says she has some, but she does not like them. Can't believe it's already Wednesday, my friends. It is also a bit busier week because this week I have been helping out at work with my Finnish colleague who's on vacation, so I've been handling his tasks. And I can tell you officially that I do not understand Finnish. Nope. Meanwhile, Nightbot does its very best to tell us all that memberships are available. I have been trying my best to keep up with it all. 2468, 2468. Lisa says I have 6-inch and 8-inch double pointed needles, 9-inch circular, and the flexi flips, and I have tried magic circle for socks, but I always go back to my metal 6-inch double pointed needles. Okay. I believe my mom prefers double pointed needles and more like a wood type. I'd like to have some of the same as the ones I have for knitting now, and double pointed needles too, but they are expensive. And I have an alternative, so I'm like, maybe I should just put them ahead and wish them for like Christmas or birthday or something like that, because I do have an alternative. And people still don't know what to give me regardless, so that is probably a good idea. Lisa says I bought a set of wood 6-inch double point cheap ones in Gibraltar just so I could knit a pair of socks on the way home. I was concerned they would make my metal ones concerned they would take my metal ones at the airport. I assume they didn't. Or did they? The wood ones work. I just prefer my metal staying double pointed ones. Can't blame you for preferring something. It's like I have multiple sets of crochet hooks, and I always, when possible, revert to these Clover Soft Touch. Cannot help it. I end up going back to them. They just seem to generally glide much nicer in the yarn. That said, at some stage they won't be possible anymore because they don't come in the sizes. These only go up to 6mm, so if I would need anything larger than a 6, then I will need them from another brand. That is just how it is. Lisa says I didn't even try to take the metal ones through security. Okay. Well, they don't take crochet hooks, I can tell you. Like, Rev says I'm almost exclusively using the Addy Swing maxi hooks. Yeah, but you also have hands like they are like brick size. You have huge hands. I can understand if these wouldn't work for you because personally, for a grip holder, the shaft is just on the edge for me being saying, a little bit longer would have been nice. So, and I have short, small hand, so. Rose says she saw my gorilla mitts in that duster picture. Just comically large. Well, I'm sure that they worked absolutely wonders for whatever you need them for. That's the most important, right? That's for all of us. We just have the size whichever the genetics chose to give us, and that's hopefully for us for what we need working great. Du-du-dum-du-dum. I have Clover and Moor hooks, and I really like them, but I'm currently my favorite is the weird ones I got from Amazon. It's a jelly grip handle. Sometimes weird ones can surprise us, right? I've had some that's both surprising me positively and negatively, which reminds me. So, do you guys remember that a year ago almost, but I think we've spoken about them since. I got these very much looking like what are they called again? Super famous hooks. Very thick shafted, solids in resin. I've lost the name. But I don't like them. The shaft is too long for me. Compared to the handle. Furls. Thank you, Lisa. I have those metal hooks, cheap version of furls, and they are heavy, and the shaft is really long, and they're just anything but convenient for me. So I have actually highly been debating on literally selling them. Just put them on the Facebook Marketplace saying, hey, only used once. They're just too big for my hands. And they feel really heavy. And I guess I'm just spoiled with this super light one. Even this is in 6mm. It's quite light. It is a bit thicker in the handle, obviously, but I mean, it's much comfier for me. Rev says furls hooks are just a bit too short for me. He wants them to be about 15% longer. Oh. Lisa says the length is the only thing I like about furls. Yeah, for me they're too long, but you can also see I already kind of like sort of holding the shaft on these ones, and it's because I like to kind of work with my fingers with the yarn. And yeah, it's just I personally didn't like working with them. So Lauren, we are still here for another 10 minutes or so, and then it's time to start cooking dinner for me. Meanwhile, Lisa says, Ref, if you're ever interested in trying a new hook, look up the jelly hook. It's super long. We are talking and discussing crochet hooks. I should probably go through some of mine. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8. It goes nice forward. Not as quick, but we are definitely progressing. And oh my goodness, we have lots of tips to go. That's crazy. I am working with a 3.75mm hook here, which is used as a USF hook, so 3.75mm. The project I worked on just before is an H hook or 5mm. I tend to work with anything between 3 and 5 with a few bit bigger. So it depends on the project I'm doing. Lisa's been asked if it's an interchangeable hook, and she confirms it is indeed interchangeable. And Lauren prefers to work in a 4 to 7 millimeter. Rev is also a larger hook size worker, so to say. I just work with a hook that is needed for the yarn to make the project and the drape or whatever project I'm making, because obviously I worked with a 3 millimeter hook. Or was it a 3.5 when I made those? When I made the octo, which I need to get posted on my Instagram. I haven't gotten around that. I should be, and I should have somewhere. I thought I had something fancy. Commands? Yeah. What I could do is I could type Instagram like this, and then Nightbot should pop my Instagram. If Nightbot is so kind. There Nightbot was. If you're not following me on Instagram, and you do have Instagram, feel free to pop over and give me a little follow. And I need to get around getting that jellyfish, Nikki the jellyfish, posted, which I made and gave away to my neighbors. And by the way, I got a really nice message Monday evening from the woman, because I didn't see her in face, because she was still bedridden. She had gotten an injection in her back to kind of help relieve the pain during the giving birth and so on. So she was being told to stay some days in bed and do only limited use of staircases and so on. But she sent me a message, was very, very happy for the tiny creature I had made. So I will definitely get that one posted. I did take some photos of it before giving it away. If you want to see it more like in a video type of expo, you should rewatch my yarn talk video from this Friday. Rev tends to use a 5.5 or 6 millimeter most of the time, and Lisa says her most used hook is 3.75, so just like this one. But she says she also uses whatever she needs for the project, exactly same like me. Generally, I use whatever I need for the project, but I'm not too keen when we go too far below 3 millimeters and it starts to get really tiny. Then it's just a little wee too tiny for me. Yes, Susan, it was a really, really, really sweet one, and they were really happy. And they really liked the thought, what I explained, the tentacles, especially the curly ones, remind the child a bit of the umbilical cord from when they were not still in the parents' womb. That's the thought of it. And they were really, really happy with it. So that is actually a rather cute story. I feel I may end up making a few more. I do think I have more scrap yarns I can make them with. I might have enough to make some with. 2, 4, 6, 8. So I might end up making more of them and offer them for sale or something, because I actually quite enjoyed making it. Last month, my most used was a 4 millimeter for all those baby beanies. Oh yeah, I betcha. How many baby beanies did you end up making in total? Susan uses all different kinds of hooks. I've crocheted thread with steel hooks. I'm not too fond of huge hook with multiple yarns held together. Yeah, that can also be a little bit too thick, I guess. I'm quite okay with the chenille yarns, like for plushies, but not necessarily something I am desperately to work with. Rev says I made 30 in total. Great job. Lisa doesn't like using bigger hooks than 5mm because larger yarns hurt my hands. I can feel my hands definitely has been in use. Let's see. We're actually on the good side for this is the front side because I can see the riffles of the contour. And I think what I need to do is I need to pop you guys up to my pretty face again. So we'll start by changing this one and then we'll pop you guys up here. Well, a bit more actually. Ta-ta. And I do technically need to rise for you guys to see this, but I'm a slight bit lazy. This is where we are on the shore of the heart collectors. Ooh. Wow. And you can really see the ruffles of this pattern contouring now. It's gorgeous. We had a yarn change up here. I should, before pulling too much in this one, make a little nice bow tie to help keep track of the yarns. We do have another one over here. That should also be bow tied, but I mean that is also not anywhere close to where we can weave in ends yet because I need more rows complete before I can do that to ensure it's not. But this one we can crochet until the next color too. So I think we could probably have a color change happening on Friday on the hat collectors. Definitely. Unless I work a lot on it until Friday. We also have, and we did a couple of rows in this one, which is the waistcoat from Drops Design. Link to that pattern as well in the description box down below. I do have more cakes for that. Well, not cakes, yarns. That was a 5mm hook. And then we have the tiny shawl. That's a 3.25mm hook, which I'm doing in 100% alpaca. That, my friends, is just laying for a bit because I still need to really read through the pattern. And that's like diagram pattern only. So it's a focus thing. Rev made 30 in total of those. And Lisa says it's getting big. It is getting big. It's getting super big. And it's only like slowly row by row, right? Because I can do a row like I can't even do a row in a full life anymore, I think. Or it's just on the edge. And if I do, we can't talk much others than just me cracking on, and it's just tiresome. Susan says, great session today. Enjoy your evenings, Dina. Thank you so much. Everybody enjoy your days as well. We definitely had a great session. I got stuff done, and I hope so did you. The plans is for me to be back on Friday at 2 p.m. Central European Time if everything goes according to plan. Maybe a bit earlier, but I don't think so. But yeah, 2 to 5 is kind of the plan-ish. It could be that I end up cutting it a little bit short Friday because yeah, it is a little bit of like a holiday-ish period. So that could be. But I will definitely be live Friday and then Monday and Wednesday next week before the yarn talk. So thank you so much for watching. If you're watching the stream from the very end, from the very beginning until the very end today, and haven't been watching with us live but are rewatching it, thank you so much for doing so. It absolutely means a lot for your support. Thank you all. Take care. Happy crafting. Love you all, and I hope to see you all on Friday. Bye.